Most foods take a fair bit of effort to produce. As gardeners, you know the amount of effort that you put in growing food. But I wanted to share with you today just 3 foods that you can grow that take virtually no effort at all. Okay, the first of them is this one here, and it's known by a variety of names. I've known it most of my life as a Cape Gooseberry, but now it's being marketed as an Inca berry. There are a few different species, but this one, which is quite common here in Australia, grows very readily, grows into quite a large bush and produces a lot of fruit. The fruit comes in these little cases, and when you open it up you'll see a beautiful fruit inside that, really tasty. Children love it, and it's supposed to be full of nutrients, antioxidants, etc. I have never planted these. They continue to grow. They find nice little places near fences and so on where it's nice and warm. I don't water it, I don't fertilize it. It produces a huge crop. I suppose rodents, etc. eat them and move them around because they come up all over the place. Definitely worth introducing to your garden. You may have to initially buy a plant or get the seed, but once it's around and established, you won't have to do anything more. When it volunteers in a place that's acceptable, just let it grow. Now, second is this one here. It's the banana passion fruit. People often think of them as weeds because they grow very profusely and will ramble and run. I did initially plant this one, and if you haven't got them in the area, you will need to introduce it the first time and plant it. If animals, rodents get hold of them, they will transport them around, but here where we have a fairly controlled environment in terms of animals, we don't tend to get a lot of volunteers coming up around the area other than the immediate vine. Now, I contain it by being able to mow around it. It has very pretty flowers and lovely passion fruit, and at the moment it's still in its flowering stage. It has a few fruit but not a lot that has come yet, but it will produce masses and masses of passion fruit that we will enjoy. Again, apart from planting, I don't fertilize, I don't water. It simply takes care of itself, just requires a little bit of containment so that it doesn't ramble too far. Frost wise, we do get frost here, and the frost does burn it a little bit on top because it's open. But I suppose if you had very severe frost it would be a problem, but it's certainly far more tolerant to frost than other passion fruits like the black passion fruit and other more tropical species. That definitely worth a go in a cool climate. The third and final plant that I'd like to mention is the Choco. Now, it's probably better known in the tropics. Here in a cool climate it is marginal. I have it growing here in our hothouse. The root is down there where it is warm, but it will grow outdoors. I know a lot of people in this area that do have them growing outdoors. Because I have the hothouse, this is where I've planted it. It gives it that extra advantage and extends the season. Now, I know a lot of people that may have tasted them say, "Oh, Chocos, I don't like them." Well, no, they are probably not the most flavoursome food, but they're probably on a par with zucchinis in terms of flavour, and people eat zucchinis all the time. So I think they should really consider the Choco a little bit more. It has a bit more starch than a zucchini. Useful in soup. I grew up with Choco soup, using these as an extender for things like pumpkin They go really nice in a leek and potato soup as an extender, so you're using less potatoes, make it a bit lighter. Some can be prickly. This is a smoother variety. There's some that are a little bit more prickly here than others, so it's a little bit in between the smooth and the prickle. They produce at the end of the season here in the autumn, and quite a bountiful crop coming, probably a lot more than we'll use. Unfortunately, a lot of these will probably end up in the compost because we find it a bit hard to give them away. People go, oh, I don't like those. But I think in terms of the effort that you put in basically have to plant it. I don't give it any extra water. It gets a little bit of watering here because I water other plants, and it's indoors, whereas if it was outdoors it would be getting rain. I don't fertilise it in any special way. It grows and grows rampantly. So in terms of the effort that you actually put in for these, I think they're really worthwhile. And you plant it once and they last for years. So also, I should mention that I believe the tips are edible, so you can put those into stir fries. You probably noticed that there's a few dead leaves here, and that's because my wife's been cutting it back because she thought it was getting a bit rampant, a bit hard to get through the door. But yeah, definitely. There's 3 species: the Cape Gooseberry or the Inca berry, the banana passion fruit, and the Choco that you can include in your garden. And apart from planting them, containing them a little maybe, you're going to get food for virtually no effort. You shouldn't have to water, and you shouldn't have to fertilise if you've got anything reasonable in rainfall or soil fertility.